who say, okay, I have a lot of money, but you have no money unless you take profits.
When the first ever spot ETF was created for gold 10x.
And the only thing I really knew was Bitcoin at the time, so I just invested very heavily into that. Rode it all the way up.
What's up?
My name is Jeff. Even the creators have said it's going to be the predecessor of CBDC.
What that taught me was that I need to be self-sufficient.
A solid DCA investment strategy, and pretend the red sell button doesn't even exist.
We about to go up like.
Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and DGens of all ages. We're back for a Wednesday AMA. We're going to be talking about some news regarding one of what I think is one of the two biggest news stories we're going to get all year. And then on top of that, we're doing a Hex conference recap. If you are coming from over there, we're super glad you came. Thank you for showing up to that, and thanks for showing up to this. We're happy to have everybody here. Today, I'm joined by my excellent panel, starting off with my co-host, Will Stevenson. How you doing, brother?
I am doing fantastic. Happy to be here, ready to get back to doing some of the old DGen Roundtable streaming. It's been quite a while since our last one. I don't know if our last one was a Whiskey Wednesday or if it was a stream from a while back, but oh, nice background, Nate. I like it. I'm gonna have to steal that from you at some point. Hell yeah, dude.
One of the cool things about the Hex conference was that it forced all of us to step our game up a little bit. So now all of us have green screens.
Yes.
Some of us are still rocking the Hex background. I'm back to my usual boring gradients, but yeah, look at that. There we go.
Yeah,
now we're talking.
I'm a big
are you in the box by any chance?
I am still in the shipping container. Yes, living my fantastic shipping container life. For those of you who want to kind of sort of see what that looks like. Well, I guess it wouldn't work with the green screen. I'll do that at some point, or you guys can check it out later.
We'll do the box tour later on. For now, I'm going to throw it over to our first panelist, Jeff. How you doing, brother?
Good, buddy. It's almost hard not to be doing good with everything. Hex conference, RH news, lawsuit.
This is a good week.
I'm looking at the chart right now.
Week.
What's it? I think Pulse just hit 0.0091, so that's exciting. So
we're almost back to SAC prices, which is phenomenal. So I know when we had our eHex parity event earlier, like a month or two ago, a lot of people were talking about how the SEC drop is over. I'd argue that it still has continued, obviously, because we were back all the way down at like 4 zeros and a 5. And now we are actually looking like we're about to escape this rut. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. It's an exciting time. All right. Last but not least, we got Nate. How you doing, man?
Hey man, having a good time. Yesterday I was like, I can see everything that's happening now, and I'm just like, oh my god, we are going to pump, and I can see just how like kind of the storyline, the narrative of like how we're gonna be pumping and everything, and there's kind of like key points that you can hit, and it's like, okay, this is gonna do this, and this is gonna do this, and it's just up to the moon. I'm just because I got that foresight now. Obviously, I'm looking at it, or future sight now. I'm looking at it like I can't wait. I can't wait. But how about that ETF fake out?
Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a second. It was a fake out, and then it was a fake out. So
yeah,
that
was bad for a lot of people.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it kind of goes to show, like, maybe, I don't know, betting futures markets or options is not the way to do it in crypto, because you will just get wrecked by random stuff. Like, we saw it back in, what was it, September? There was the fake article came out that's saying that the ETFs were going to get approved, and we jumped like 5% in a day. And then the next day, it was like, oh yeah, by the way, that was fake. And then we dropped another 5% back down to the original level. It's like, yeah, we move real hard, real quick, sometimes for no good reason.
Yeah. And if you look at it too, we kind of got like a view into the future with that, like a day ahead of time, because as soon as that happened, all of that Bitcoin went straight into ETH.
Yep, exactly.
Pretty crazy.
That is
that was an insane like Bitcoin just dropped through the floor. And then ETH just had this huge green candle. I'm just like, whoa, okay, then there we go.
For sure. Keep our fake out from September in mind when we go through our stories, because I think it's relevant. And I got a question for you guys regarding what's different this time about it. All right, I'm going to attempt to share my screen. If our lovely production assistant will help me out. Thank you very much. Excellent. All right. First story of the night, we have Spot Bitcoin ETF receives official approval from the SEC. This is a fantastic news event because this is what we've been building up for honestly what feels like 9 months at this point. We've been talking about ETF approval forever. We've had multiple fake outs, including this one yesterday. By the way, Gary Gensler does have a Twitter, and it's something to say the least. But we're going to look at this one in particular. The SEC Gov Twitter account was compromised and an unauthorized tweet was posted. The SEC has not approved the listings and trading of spot Bitcoin exchange traded products. That was January 9th at 2:26 p.m., so aka yesterday afternoon. If we want to go look at the chart, the afternoon of the 9th, but not a whole lot of action, although we did get this red candle. And then we go back to our articles. But come on now. And by the way, even the SEC had the same thing going out there. And now we're back to actually being approved as of this afternoon. So my question for you guys is, this is a fun little thing, but like, what do you think the odds are that the SEC Twitter account actually got hacked versus like maybe some intern accidentally posted a thing like a day too early?
I think it was accidentally posted too early. It just looks like
100%.
It looks like it to me, man. I think it was accidentally posted too early.
Agree,
yeah, I was gonna say,
100%.
I think Occam's razor suggests that the simpler option of a little bit of just what's the word I'm looking for? Incompetence is better than someone actually trying to hack the SEC Twitter.
Oh,
Yeah,
never
we'd rather
never
do that.
attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by stupidity, which
Thank
is
you, Will. That is
Hanlon's razor.
I think it's crazy
Also-
they're taking zero accountability for it too.
well. What are you talking about? They made a tweet. Come on, yeah,
You're
it's
right.
the
I'm
government.
sorry. I apologize. You saw the tweet like 6 months ago when they were like, "Oh, maybe you should only use like credible Twitter pages for your information," and then their Twitter gets hacked. That's just ironic for me.
I'm
You're
sending
not
you
wrong. There's
I'm
a
sending
beautiful
you
irony.
Zenith
Oh,
in Telegram. I just sent you the more fun version of SEC tweets.
yeah. I
I
don't know
don't-
if I can even show that on screen, brother.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
It's
they've been hacked before in the past.
Yes, I suck dick and balls in my face. I'm gay. For whoever's gonna clip this, then congratulations, you got some sound bites of me there. But U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, I lick ass cheeks. That's fantastic. I wish there was an easier way to share images while streaming. But
Lovely.
it was on
All right.
Sami's thing. But enough of the
Sonny
silliness.
does cover good stuff, especially when people like really screw up like that. All right, on to our question from Josh. He's in the chat. He said, did all the applications get approved like the hack tweet said, or was it only particular applications? I still need to do a little more reading into it. However, at this time, I can tell you this. I think that the BlackRock exchange got approved. And Jeff actually has an excellent point regarding BlackRock and the ETFs and what we can see tomorrow. But the big one is that Grayscale is officially allowed to convert their ETF into a spot ETF, which has been literal multiple years in the making. So good news for Greystone, and happy to see it. The ARC 21 shares Bitcoin was the one that has the. Thank you, Bradley. We had 11 ETFs approved. ARC 21 shares is notably the one that had the first date. The final date was today, I want to say. I think the BlackRock, there's another handful, like there's a huge chunk of like 10 or 11 of them that all had an approval date of the 13th or 14th of January. So it seems like they just knocked this all out in one fell swoop.
Yeah, I think it was like Van Eck and Fidelity. I think.
Sounds about right. So, Jeff, I want to toss it over to you. What do you think about this little tweet here? Someone is saying that there's a case that $2.5 trillion in Bitcoin flows in the near future. What are you seeing?
So I was reading earlier, and I didn't dive into it. This is like 5 minutes after work while I was driving. Also, don't look at your phone while you drive. I read that Bloomberg posted like a tweet or something saying that they believe tomorrow, when the markets open at 9 a.m. Eastern, that you're going to see about throughout the day, about 4 billion influx in, and Bloomberg said you're going to see about 2 billion of that come from BlackRock. And that's in a day. That's what they think. It could be much more. I can tell you it's going to be more because you're going to have retail buying too. So it's going to be more than 4 billion. So maybe we see. But that's what I read. That's all I know so far.
I think you're absolutely correct. This is the opportunity that a lot of people have been waiting for, institution or retail, like you mentioned. So I would not be surprised if tomorrow we print a big green candle and maybe even bust through that 48,500 resistance mark on Bitcoin. Gentlemen,
sure.
you guys have any other thoughts on what's going to happen tomorrow morning?
Can I ask you something real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
What do you think about this? So, do you think we could say that it's advantageous since crypto for retail can be bought at any time, but we know tomorrow the markets don't open up for the ETFs until 9. So can we front run? Is it smart to front run? Not financial advice. But you see what I'm saying? If we think that tomorrow at 9 a.m. that all this capital is going to flow in, well, back in the day, you couldn't do that in regular markets because everybody would have to wait till 9 a.m., but we don't have to. We could buy this awesome decentralized stuff right now.
Is that like
Correct.
kind of buy the rumor, buy the news play right there?
That's exactly what it is.
I mean, honestly, I've had a very similar thought. I saw the news today and I was like, shoot, do I need to make my last like little push of a DCA into a few coins just in case we pump hard tomorrow? It's like, honestly, in my opinion, it feels like that might be a good play. But at the same time, I think there is also a nugget of truth with what you said, which is that we have the ability to trade 24/7 as opposed to the market, which was only going to open at 9 o'clock Eastern time. And that's because in crypto, if you are willing to trade with actual cryptocurrency and also hold your own keys, you have full control over this stuff as opposed to, I don't know, using a broker or a middleman. So one more reason to convince people to get into full-fledged crypto instead of just the paper stuff.
For sure.
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking it's probably going to end up dumping.
Yeah, that's my thoughts.
I think those are also very valid points as well. I'm going to bring up the
here's what I think. So what I think is that people have already been buying into Bitcoin, in anticipation for the ETFs. And so they've been buying it up. And now all of a sudden it's like, haha, I can get into the ETFs have happened, sell the news. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna end up dumping it, but then it's gonna have a retracement, and then they're gonna Grandpa's money is gonna start coming in as they're gonna be advertising the hell out of it, and then so for the next 2 months, we're probably gonna get back to that original price again, and then obviously the people who had already bought in are gonna be buying their own dump, I guess. So
definitely. If we can pull up our chart real quick, I do have a follow-on question I want to ask. So previously I mentioned that we had that one fake out event back in where you at? Here you are. Right here on August 29th. We had those like 2-3 days where it went up and then down, and then after that was pretty much it. This entire run theoretically has been fueled by ETF rumors or the halving rumor, depending on which one you want to think. And then we look and we see that the Bitcoin ETF got approved today, but this is all the action that we have going on. It's not even that much movement, honestly. It's a fluctuation of about like $2,000 when we're sitting at like 45,000. Do you guys think the market's already factored this in, or do you think that we're actually going to see that movement like Jeff and I mentioned?
I am ready for worst case scenario, and I will be surprised if it's best case scenario. That's my if you boil it all down to one little sentence thing. I generally am very skeptical of things that sound like it's going to be crazy fantastical and life's going to get better and price go up and all that stuff. Like
that's true. We might be getting a little high on supply after this week of news.
Yeah. Because of what, Nate?
Because you're a curmudgeon.
Yeah, that's true. I'm a happy curmudgeon though. I can't remember. I don't know if I said it in our Telegram earlier or if it was in the leadership one or the original C to the third power Telegram chat. But I'm the type of guy that will like watch my house burn down and like bust out the marshmallows and laugh at it as it's going through the floor. So
yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when I start laughing. I actually sometimes I'll get in trouble because of customers are like, "Oh, this problem is happening," and I'll just kind of in my text or whatever, I'll kind of giggle. I'll be like, "Ha ha ha! Well, this is how you can solve them." And then my boss, then they're pissed off, you know. So then
Don't
they
laugh
go
at them
to
on text.
exactly. Then they go to the customer service, and then that gets back to my boss. My boss is like, "Why are you laughing at him?" I'm like, well, it's funny.
It's
For sure. I'm going to
Hey,
make
that's
one
why
last
you don't
point,
read
and then
your
I'm going
text, Nate.
I'm going to make one last point, and then I'm going to throw it over to Jeff. I think you had a good point you wanted to raise. So real quick, this bar, not this one, we're going to delete that, but the one below it is I'm tracking a current 60-day cycle. I believe that we did have our cycle low on the 14th of November, and 60 days from that is the 13th of January, and we're 2 days away from it. So to channel my anal agent J and do a little TA here, based on this, would it make sense if we got a little bit of a dip coming up? Yeah, it would make sense actually if you follow 60-day cycles. Granted, the news might be able to just outright erase that, and we see that we put in that new low already on the 3rd of January. But theoretically, there's a possibility we break back down below 41,500 if this turns into one of those sell the news events like you guys were talking about. So for all my 60-day cycle folks out there, keep an eye on it. We're coming up on what I think is the correct cycle count, and we could have some news. It could go longer because we did just have our high on day like 56, so it could go all the way out to 70
that's
or 80.
exactly what I was saying too. You know, people have been front running this in anticipation, and so they've been just buying it up. And now that now it has actually been approved, they're going to dump it, and then they'll buy in a little bit too. But I think it's going to take a few months for the boomers to start flying in, and that might be a little bit why BlackRock is going to be throwing a ton of money at it right off the bat. Just a theory.
True. All right, Jeff, what you got for us? I think you have an interesting point regarding Ethereum.
Yeah, so I thought about this earlier and I looked it up, and numbers could be different now, but I think in the last year Bitcoin is up double on Ethereum. I think that might be like 10% off or something. So a lot of Bitcoin's bullishness was on, the rumor, the speculation of the ETF. Well, what if all of a sudden people see what it did for Bitcoin's price action and they say, hey, well, now with people trying to get an Ethereum ETF, the likelihood, since the Bitcoin one got approved, is much higher that an Ethereum one would also get approved. You see what I'm saying? There's less risk. So people might try to front run the Ethereum ETF. So right now, you've already made double your gains on Bitcoin. I wonder if some people will sell the news and pump their money into Ethereum before the Ethereum ETF news gets released that we're going to do this,
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, it's proof. We've already seen it happen. We've seen the future with that with the fake tweet or mistaken tweet, whatever you want to call it. With that's exactly what we saw. Bitcoin dumped and went, and it very obviously went straight into Ethereum. So I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing.
You guys do have a very good point. If you want to go look at the charts for Bitcoin versus Ethereum today, Bitcoin had a negligent move, as I mentioned. Ethereum, on the other hand, just hit $2,600 after sitting right between that like 2,400 and 2,200 bracket, just bouncing around there. So it looks like it's officially broken out of that, and we're starting to run on Ethereum a bit. So like you said, there might be something to it. I'm going to share my screen again. I got two more articles I want to cover real quick that are relevant.
There's one last thing that I want to say about that too. Here's the big deal. This might I haven't seen your articles or not, but this might be actually one of them. So, if they approve a Bitcoin ETF, what are the other ones that they're trying to get approved right now?
Excellent point. That is actually the next article I've pulled up for you. Is there speculation that the Bitcoin ETF approval now actually is leading towards an Ethereum ETF approval? And one of the other things that people talk about is the idea of, all right, about Bitcoin now, what are the other ETFs? One of the things that's going on here is that the SEC is not directly approving or disapproving of any specific cryptocurrency, especially when you consider that Bitcoin was officially labeled a commodity. And Ethereum originally was labeled a security. However, through the leaked documentation that we got at the end of last year, there was speculation that because of the decentralization that the Ethereum Foundation has done, Ethereum is actually moving towards a commodity, which would lead to the benefit of the theory that the Ethereum ETF is a lot more ripe for approval now that the Bitcoin ETF is approved. So there could be more ETFs coming. I want to say BlackRock already filed an Ethereum ETF paperwork, and I can't remember if any other ones have. I'm sure maybe somebody in the chat can correct me.
Grayscale, I think, like might be off, but I don't know why, but I think I remember reading Grayscale Ethereum ETF.
Niles has a very good point here. I was actually going to kind of go there next. We've already kind of been talking about it, but you know how the flow goes: Bitcoin into Ethereum into alts, right? Then alts into casino.
Speaking of which, if you're a Hexican, we have been having a hell of a week when it comes to the chart. The Hex conference did start about 4 or 5 days ago, and if you go look at that chart, guess what happened 4 or 5 days ago?
Up and to the right.
Yeah, so this could be that flow that Niles is talking about, which is we saw Bitcoin. If you look at the performance over the last year and a half, Bitcoin is effectively 3x'd. Ethereum has effectively only 2x'd. And we've seen some altcoins run, but we've seen a lot of altcoins just bleed out over time. And now we're officially seeing a little bit of that transfer you guys mentioned from Bitcoin gains into all the other stuff. Because everything in the RH ecosystem on Pulse Chain right now is up pretty good. Pulse Chain, Pulse X is also up. Even the incentive token, I want to say, is seeing a nice little bump. Granted, the incentive token chart looks very different than the other ones, but it is still technically up. More importantly, though, the thing I want to point out is that if you look at the Pulse Chain and the Hex charts, we are officially above some of the lows that we saw before the SEC dropped this real hard. Specifically for Pulse, we're above it, and then for Hex, we are also well above both of these previous bottoms back in June and July. So
I blame Richard Hart on that one for doing his I'm gonna go punch you in the face, Gary.
It's so funny that he did this 2 days before the ETF gets approved.
Yeah, speaking of which, I'm gonna see if I can pull that up real quick. Richard Hart win, baby. Richard Hart has officially announced that he will be, well, he's actually calling out the SEC for releasing PDFs before they actually did. Here we go. Richard Hart has officially announced that he will be fighting back against the SEC. He specifically filed paperwork with lawyers regarding so. And this is something that we were speculating a long time ago, back before we even had that one like date of did they subpoena him or not. And then it turns out they never did or got a hold of him. So this is your official answer to that question now. Richard Hart will be fighting back. So we only have the future to see what's going to happen there. And as far as that goes, I am done with my news segments. Any final comments on the world at large?
Can I make a little comment on the case?
Absolutely.
I did some digging on the lawyers. One lawyer was voted #1 litigation attorney in the country. That's a good guy to have on your team. One of the firms was voted #1 most feared firm by like corporations and stuff. And another attorney was like, one was the head of the SEC legal team, I believe, and another one was part of the legal team for the Department of Justice. So these guys have experience with government entities like this.
That's the all-star team right there. Yeah, I don't know if it can honestly get much better than that.
What a slap in the face. I love it.
I guarantee he spared no expense and said, please, let's do this.
Yeah, I know this is one of the things that Richard Hart has been talking about for a hot minute now, is that he talks about being in everything he's in for the glory. He's like, I've made stupid amounts of money. He's driven all the F1 cars. He's gone to all the places. He ate all the expensive food. Now he's purely in this for the glory. And this looks like one of those moves where he's like, oh yeah, I can dunk on these people real hard. This is going to be fantastic.
Correct. He just cares about winning. He doesn't need, let's say you are worth $4 billion. I don't think there's anything you could do with $5 billion that you can't do with 4. Well, I'm sure there are things, but I think you catch my drift.
You're not wrong. At that point, like, this is something that you've heard people, a lot of like the very wealthy people talk about, that like, there does come a point where there's no more stuff to buy. At that point, really, you're just trying to build more cool stuff. Elon Musk is building rockets, and I guess that is the thing that billionaires do. What is it? Millionaires race expensive cars. Billionaires build rockets to the moon.
I was just going to say that there's like a point to a lot of people's lives, you know, like we can consume things or we can try and get like very specific goals accomplished. So like the buying the yachts, the buying the cars, buying the foods, you know, buying the finest whatever, you know, houses and stuff. That's all like that's all consumption lifestyle. And I would imagine that a lot of people that make it to billionaire status don't do it from a point of consuming lots of things as their primary goal. I would say that their primary goal most likely is getting specific goals accomplished, which is why they're probably billionaires in the first place, presupposing that they earned their billions as opposed to inheriting in it. You know, so it's just a thought that I have is like if you're going to be a consumer and you're going to live in a like a consumer mind style or trap or something, then you know you're going to be held back
Scarcity.
by yeah yeah. So like it'll hold you back in your you know rat race or whatever if you just buy too many things and like are all about the frivolous like spending points. So just a thought that I had. There's like
No,
You
there's
know, I
generating
want to.
wealth and then there's spending wealth.
Yeah.
agree 100%.
Yeah, and I just want to say, isn't this kind of like what I was talking about? Jesus, it was like back in September
Yep.
or whenever that the SEC came after Richard Hart, and I was like, hey, this is a perfect opportunity for him to kick their butt and then pump the price, and all the while, you know, taking all that glory and everything. And of course, people are, you know, going to be really happy over all that, right? It's like, it's kind of interesting how it seems to be happening, right?
If I'm not mistaken, and Zenith, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure that the four of us on the panel were the four that wanted Richard to fight the SEC while the rest of the DGen roundtable. Am I was I know that
remember
I did
Jeff.
say
Brendan. I
that.
think it was
I
Brendan.
was on that.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Brendan
You're
was
not wrong.
like, kill him.
Who would have thought that the guys who didn't want Richard to not stand or like to basically just like you know just go away and just ignore the SEC, like they're not on stream tonight as Richard's doing his you know fighting the SEC and all that stuff. So
Well,
I
to be
find
fair,
that
I think
fun
we're
to
probably
throw a
the
little bit of
most,
shade.
I think we're probably the most Hexican Pulsican out of everybody on the DGen roundtable.
That's probably pretty true. I mean, we're all you know we all enjoy the finer things in the cryptocurrency sphere. One of those happens to be the fantastic product that is Hex. But
Yeah, we're all Mexican fans, but I think this group right here is the diehards. But I think it was so funny that all these people thought that Richard was running from the SEC. In the meantime, he was just biding his time and coming up with this genius. The people literally saying he was running. I'm like, geez, you have no idea. You thinking he was running was probably what he wanted. That's if what happens, if what I think is going to happen happens, and Richard beats the SEC, which I think he will. Can you understand? Let's say that Hex was going to 100x from the bottom. Well, you might have just got a free extra 4x out of that, which is a 400x, because the SEC did you a favor. They dropped the price down for you. If you were buying at the SEC bottom, you are going to make more money. Not financial advice, but the combination. I was already bullish on Hex and the whole ecosystem, but the combination of the SEC suing him, and then if he beats them, along with the SAC funds and all this and all that, I'm gonna write Gary Gensler a thank you letter.
You're not wrong. And one of the great ironies of this is that Richard Hart would honestly probably agree with you. He's been very vocal about the goal of shaking out weak hands every market cycle. I know he still wants to see like more NFT people get wrecked, but at the same time, he also the other side of that coin is that he wants to reward the true believers, the people that actually have the conviction to stick with the project instead of just try to like make money off the launch. He's trying to help the people that are helping themselves by delaying gratification, holding onto the coins long term, and ensuring that the ecosystem stays alive. Because remember, all this was built to help Hex. So RH is probably smiling and saying, yeah, thanks SEC for dipping the price, shake out with those weak hands that he doesn't like, and then help reward the people that are willing to double and triple down.
Here's the other thing though too, right? So when he's knocking out all these what I call paper whales, then then that allows the SAC money to pump harder, pump everything harder. then those green candles are going to bring those paper whales back in. Be like, oopsies, I got to get in here now before it takes off on me. You see how that works? So with that being said, though, what's going on in the comments right now?
I was going to say I have an amendment. Josh was of the camp that Richard needs to fight in order to prove his in order to stand up to his principles. So I will amend my statement earlier that I said about the four of us being the degens that wanted him to stand down, and I will include Josh in that statement. And whatever else I'm wrong about, I'll just go ahead and say, hey, I'm sorry about all that stuff I was wrong about, and I'll probably be wrong about more stuff in the future. So now that I'm covered for my entire life, I'm going to continue being right on everything.
Yeah, I think you're covering all the bases for all of us. I know that we will continue to be wrong, and we might be blind squirrels that find a nut here and there, but yeah, good idea to pay it forward. Anyways, going to the chats, want to give some shout outs to folk. We got a lot of old faces, and we even have some new faces tonight. First off, I think we got Megan Mulcair saying, hey guys, glad to have you. Thanks for showing up. On top of that, we also got Tin Top saying, what's up, Hexicans? That's right, the Hexicans are in the house for sure. I think this is the Hexican panel out of the D-Gens. Bradley, good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming in and letting us know some of the ETF stuff going on. We also got Mayo and longtime favorite of the channel in front of ours, No Money Mike. He's asking, what are we drinking? He's got Larceny Barrel Proof. You guys have I know it's not an official Whiskey Wednesday, but do you gentlemen have any beverage? I am sipping on a fine Baja Blast myself.
I've only got water, man. Sparkling water. It's sparkling ice, and it is orange mango flavored.
Bro, I'm drinking orange bubbly cream sparkling water. Orange cream, that's right. Out of a Green's Sausage House mug. So if you're ever in Zabbixville, Texas, whoa, that's cool.
Is it green?
Yeah, it's a green logo. So shit, never mind.
The green screen's picking it up.
Yeah,
that's kind of funny.
That's cool.
There is
anyways, if you're ever in Central Texas, go to Green's Sausage House in Zabbixville, Texas. They make some fantastic kolaches.
Jeff, do you have anything tonight, or are you also joining us for what appears to be dry January?
I have a Gatorade and a water.
Good man. Excellent.
Look at that.
Sorry,
Josh. We need you back on here for Whiskey Wednesday. We're not repping.
I'll drink some coffee too, so that way you're not alone drinking coffee, Zena.
Hey, dude, Niles, I'm very sorry. This is room temperature orange mango water.
It's no orange juice with 3 ice cubes for all the baby dolls out there.
Real quick, I'm looking in the comments. Bradley's in here saying he's making fun of Peter Schiff, and Peter Schiff is so full of shit. He pretends to love gold. He only owns like 5% of gold. Like 95% of his portfolio is in like gold mining companies. He doesn't even believe enough in the item that he promotes. It's hilarious.
Dude, I know that exact stream you're talking about with him and Richard Hart. I've been going through all Richard's streams lately, and I was listening to that one. It was hilarious, bro.
Oh yeah,
it was just fantastic.
Well, Schiff did actually better than I thought. I mean, Richard won the debate, but a couple of things Schiff said, I'm like, okay, damn, not a bad point. But all in all, if I had to score it, Richard beat him pretty handedly. One or two things that Peter said, I was like, okay, cool. But the whole thing, he doesn't even own the asset that he preaches, which is like probably the definition of hypocrisy, if I had to guess.
I also want to so I see Chocolate Taints in the chat shouting out Larceny, his favorite whiskey. I want to shout out Larceny. That's one of my favorite crimes. It's a real good one. So guys, go out there and make sure you commit lots of larceny. That's how you can. No. That's actually a great way to get rich quick. Is stealing other people's money.
Will is joking, just telling you.
That's financial advice, and you can take that to the grave.
Life advice.
Life advice. Oh my god.
At least we're not telling people to commit tax fraud. So,
Angel's Envy is my favorite whiskey.
Go commit tax fraud too. Oh snap! We got Fast Abdul in the chats. Let's talk bribes. So real quick, I want to give a shout out to Fast Abdul. He is creating the two fucks protocol. And actually,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
he was on the Corey Costa stream the other day, wasn't he?
Correct. Yes. So he's reached out to me. We're working on setting up a time. We're pretty full for January as far as guests and Whiskey Wednesday streams go, but we can perhaps work something out. So Thank you, Fast Abdul, for reminding me that I need to go through my chats and look and see what our schedule's looking like on the DGen Roundtable side. So we'll set that up. But anyways, Fast Abdul is creating he's at least the front man for the 2FUX protocol, which is something more or less of a voting structure for the FUX protocol that basically allows people to pool their resources and then use said pooled resources to more or less vote themselves larger shares of things. So it's kind of like if you're a poor person and you don't have a whole lot of the FUX Prime tokens, then you can use the 2FUX protocol that they are building. So that's the long and short of it. But I would like to dig further deeper into the weeds with Fast Abdul. So thank you, sir, for showing up and talking bribes.
We could
that's
do
his little moniker thing.
Talk bribes.
Mm-hmm.
What we could do is like a deep dive with it, maybe go over it with him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So either do it live, or we could do a do like a pre-recorded thing. I prefer doing things live. That's just my personal preference, but I think that you can go through a lot more substance in a pre-record. So
I would agree with that. The one thing I would say that's really important as far as, and I believe Tracker did the best thing with this, is having some sort of like presentation to do. I think that's probably best.
Yep. So fucking dude, Tracker makes some good ass presentations. I just ask questions and do the Socratic method. Tracker, like, he goes and like digs up the house and looks at the foundation before, like, getting the construction manager on site to, like, analyze things. So good shit on Tracker. So we're looking forward to actually in the near future, Nate and Hefe, are you guys doing the thing with Tracker? And have we announced this yet? I don't want to be announcing things live that we haven't told the community about yet.
Are you talking about Jesse and Walrus again?
Yeah. Is that, well, I guess it's public.
There you
go. It's not public before, it's public now.
Yeah, it's up on the no, it's up on the on our channel right now. That's going to be tomorrow, actually.
Oh, okay. Is it live or is it recorded?
Live this time.
Oh,
and then before that, I did a little thing too about mindsets, the bear mindset versus the bull mindset, how you need to transition. And that's going to be premiered 2:00 tomorrow, and then that'll go on for like an hour or so. And then after that we'll stream.
That one's pre-recorded?
Pre-recorded. I literally came home and I was doing some thinking, and you'll see as you watch it, but I was like, honey, get the StreamYard, I'm gonna do something, and just did it.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic. All right, gentlemen, are we ready to get to the meat and potatoes for tonight's stream?
Yes.
Excellent.
Apologies, we've gone a bit off course here.
Hey, all good. This is kind of
what
what we do.
Captain.
We
try to maintain a course, but we'll definitely take detours. So we recently had a fantastic opportunity to do a little presentation and appear on the Hex Conference. Massive shout out to Matty Allen for hosting the 4th annual Hex Conference. He did it over 4 days, and I believe we still have the stream where they're going to go for the world record attempt of most YouTubers on one stream. I want to say that is the 13th, aka this Saturday. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
That is correct.
Excellent. All right, so day one, we had a fantastic opportunity to do testimonials. You probably saw a bunch of us popping on, and it was this beautiful transition where the stream before it was how to hex. Access Alive was on there, and he gave us a massive shout out. So we would just like to say thank you, sir. We look forward to having you on the show, and we're going to have a great time. He shouted out the DGen Roundtable, and then 5 minutes later, a bunch of us just started popping up and explaining who we are, what we do, and I guess why we're Hexkins, honestly. And then, of course, I did my best to shill the book club. So apologies for my salesmanship to everyone that was hoping for something more than that. But then outside of that, we have our superstar who hosted one of his own panels talking about doing real life meetups, and also partly co-hosted by a friend of the channel, a Wild SJ. The man himself is Will Stevenson. Will, how was your panel, brother?
So I particularly enjoyed that panel. It was a lot. There was a lot of information in there that just went like way over my head as far as like I had no idea how much, like, I'm still learning more and more and more about like the Hex Meetup community and what actually happens, and like how many people are out there, traveling the world, traveling around doing stuff. And it's just like I'm just a small little drop in the bucket of Hexicans going out and like getting shit done. Like it was really cool to hear about, RG3 and Wild SJ's Pulse Tour for 2024. Excuse me. And also Black Hexican. Can't forget about Black Hexican. Um,
Absolutely.
I think Casey. I don't remember her actual name, but Black Hexican is how people know her. So yeah, that like there's shit going on all over the place. And then the KSB uh Coinspar. Oh man, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce the German thing, but the KSB guys over in German. So a bit Hex and uh is it KSB Lion, I believe. Forgive me if I get your guys' name wrong, but the German gentleman who like they go around and they do all the stuff over there in Europe. So there's plenty of meetup things happening over there. I know there's going to be a massive cruise. There's going to be all sorts of shit. And then there's little old me trying to like, just drive down to the local diner and like hang out with dudes over like a freaking, like I had a cup of coffee with Ramon just the other day, and then I went out and I was hanging out with Crypto Kool-Aid down in Austin. It was funny during like the practice round for the largest stream, which by the way, I'm gonna drop the link in the description below. If you guys want to be a part of the largest stream like ever, it is mostlive.eventbrite.com, right? So you can go there, you sign up. I would very much appreciate it if every single one of you guys that's watching this, both live and on the replay, go sign up for that Hex conference. So that way we can beat the world record of like most number of people live on one screen all at one time. So that'd be kick ass. Everyone, like Maddie was saying, if everyone that was in the conference brings one other person, so it's like 120 people times two. If there's 240 people total, then we'll break the record. So that'd be kick ass. And all you guys got to do is basically like say your name, say how long you've been in Hex, and that's more or less it. Like I just had a little 10-second spot where I was sitting inside DP Dough up in Dallas buying Larry some calzones, or excuse me, buying Crypto Kool-Aid some calzones. And like I was literally like chilling at the desk waiting when I noticed like that the particular room that I was in went live. And I was like, oh shit, like they're about to, like I'm sitting here in a fast food joint and they're about to we're about to talk about, oh, I've been a Hexican since like day 1000 or some shit like that. And so that was super cool. But then like I literally as soon as that was done, I started driving down to where Larry's at, and then we hung out all night and talked crypto, talked life, and yeah, man. So just like meeting people is crazy cool, and the panel was crazy awesome. Like, and it is super neat to see other Hexicans meeting Hexicans. And I had no idea who the purple mohawk or the pink mohawk guy was with like the diamond in his forehead. That was
That's
awesome.
Cosmic Cowboy.
That's Cowboy. Okay,
Cosmic Cowboy. I only know that because when I watched y'all talk, I memorized his name.
Yes, I knew it was something with C's. I couldn't remember what it was, but man, like it what a nifty setup that was. That was super cool. So if you guys have the chance, like go check it out. And I also had my fancy schmancy QR code plank, which I still have. So I was thinking like, hey, like, it'd be awesome is if while I'm talking to the hundreds and hundreds of people that are watching, like I get to show my little Hex Meetup thing that I made, and then show the little bit.ly link that I made for the DGen Roundtable. So that was chilling in the background the whole time. So hopefully like one or two people joined our community from that. I think it was pretty cool, pretty fun though.
It was a good time. By the way, I think you are the team's #1 onboarder at this point. So you have brought more people to the Telegram than anybody else. So thank you, Will, for that. I gotta say, I caught your panel live. I thought it was a lot of fun. And I think that you had a very interesting aspect that you brought to the panel, because someone like SJ, who literally has been driving a bus around the entire country for the last year with not with RG3 in the bus, but to help RG3 get the Pulse Chain Tour off the ground so that they can keep doing it this year. She's been involved in massive, large-scale events across the country, tons of moving pieces and organizations. However, the interesting thing that you brought to the table was that you are the small-scale guy. And
Yeah.
I would almost argue that that was more relatable than some of the other stuff. I mean, we're all like super stoked for Pulse Chain Tour. Like we even saw SJ streaming with RG3 from the tailgate of the Chargers game. That was fun. But at the same time, I think what yours is more relatable for was that anybody can join your effectively an online Excel spreadsheet, put in
Yep.
their name, find other people in the area, and meet up and do small scale stuff. That's really the grassroots kind of organization that feels very feasible for everybody. So I just want to say thanks for putting all that together, brother. And what do you think? Have you been successful in your attempts so far?
Well, I've been successful. I don't know if other people have met up. That's their business. But the thing that I like is creating cool tools for myself to use. And then if other people also choose to use those tools, then more power to them. I'm putting it up in the chat right now. It's the bit.ly link that will take you to my Excel spreadsheet that will allow you to put in your information, however much you want. You know, I've done a very dangerous thing and I've made it open to editing for the public. So if someone wants to go in there and delete everything, like anybody could do that. If someone wants to go in there and make the world a better place by adding their information and contacting other people and starting little meetups of their own, like that'd be kick ass. But the thing that like I want to do is like I don't want to organize a meetup. I just want to empower other people to meet people if they want to. Like I would have never met Crypto Kool-Aid if I hadn't have put the little link up like while I was on the while I was on the Discord syndicate, you know, chatting with the captain. Like if I'd have never mentioned that, then I wouldn't have met like one of the most like brilliant people in the cryptocurrency sphere who has just like taught me a shit ton of stuff in like the last 2 months that I've known him. Like like man, it is crazy what happens when you meet crypto bros like in real life, just like the like Zenith, you know, like when we met and hung out down in Vegas, bro. Like there was a lot of shit that was going on there. Like not just like you and me hanging out and doing like the interview and like and shooting the shit and having a great time, but like, you know, like we got to meet Twinkie, got to meet Hex Monkey, we met Charlie and Miguel. Like I think that
We also met Sloth. He was there too.
yeah. So we met Sloth, we met Jay that magician guy who's like also a comedian, the black magician guy. He was there. Well, my brother was there. Like there were tons, and you know, forgive me if I forget your guys' name. You were at the CMC meetup down in Vegas, but like,
We also
you know,
can't
just going
forget
around.
Boogie. That was
Yes,
where we met Boogie.
That's the one. Yeah, Boogie. So, me and him still have to go shooting. We planned on going shooting down there, and it never came to fruition because like we ran out of time and shit. Oh yeah, Malik was down there. You know, Dartier. Like there were just so many people, so much value, so much like real transmission of energy. Like you guys got to go out there and just meet other Hexicans. Jeff, I know that you and Dace Northal, another member of the DGen Roundtable, you guys have met up and you guys hung out and got some goals accomplished, right? Do you want to talk about that shortly? I don't want to put you on the spot if you don't want to, but how about that, bro?
Yeah, we hung out. Awesome guy, super nice. I consider him a friend now, just like all y'all. And we had a good time. Really good dude. And he's exactly how I thought he would be in person as he is when I talk to him on the phone and on here. So no, fantastic. We had a great time and plan on doing that. I think Josh wants to come hang out with us for a football game next year and stuff. So we're lining stuff up.
Yep. He actually just appeared down in the chats. Oh hell yeah. What's up, A-Bit? Dude, that was a great panel that we were on. Fuck yeah, bro. It was nice to meet you, dude. You and Crypto Sparbrook. That's how you pronounce it. Your guys' little program is freaking awesome, dude. Yeah, I'm scrolling through the chats, making sure I don't miss people here. If there was anyone else that was on the conference or that was like hanging out or anything. But yeah, guys, like just meeting other people is the best thing to do. I'm gonna drop that link one more time, and then I'm also gonna change my description. Go ahead, Zenith. Say your stuff.
I was going to start looping in the rest of our panel here. So you obviously had a fantastic panel with all these guys that came on. Massive thank you to all these guys showing up for our stream as well. We really appreciate it. So I got to go over to Jeff and Nate. What was your guys' favorite part of the conference? Do you have a favorite panel, stream, moment? What you got?
Yeah, I couldn't get enough of when when Hexy Bastard was very kindly escorted off the show. That was, I'm not gonna lie, that was really annoying. Like, just straight up at the beginning, Maddie's just, hey, how's it going? And he's gonna start down the line, and the guy got like, it was like 2 words in, and Hexy just started going off and swearing up a storm. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? This is so rude.
Well, I'll say this. For people that don't know, Hexy Bastard is the guy that created the 9-inch protocol. He's also was a sponsor for the entire Hex conference. So for the panel that he was on, he was loud and outspoken, and I think that's part of just his personality. He did say a lot of good stuff, talked a lot about how we can, honestly, the best marketing for Hex itself is just printing green candles left and right. And like, the guy's a personality, I'll say that much. So,
dude,
they did open. Sorry, we'll go.
I was gonna say, did you happen to catch the day 2 when, so he's got his fun Hexy Bastard version, and then he's got a serious Hexy Bastard version. Like, I didn't know much about 9-inch as a dex until that was it day 3 or day 4? Whatever day it was where he talked about the 9-inch like as a dex, like what you can do with single side staking, pulse X, like you can lock it up for like up to a year, get like a 21x on the BBC token, or I can't remember if it's the BBC token or the 9-inch token that you get as a result of staking. But like, I didn't know that there was single side staking on 9-inch. I didn't know that there was like the whole buy and burn system. So I learned a crap ton of stuff about 9-inch, and also like I didn't know it was on Ethereum. Like, I should have, because I know for a fact that that DCC's talked to Hexy about it before on his streams, and I like in retrospect, I remember hearing like, oh snap, there's BBC on both chains, and also like it flexes on the Ethereum bros. Like, whenever you do a trade on Ethereum, it's like, oh, you could have saved all this money if you'd have just gone over to Pulse Chain, So Hexy's he's made some fantastic products, dude. Like,
I think he's taking a page out of Richard Hart's book. You'll catch some outrage marketing. He'll do the outrage part.
Oh yeah,
and then he'll get on key.
Yep.
For sure. I mean, like, the reason that he named it 9-inch and named the incentive token BBC, that tells you a lot about the overall strategy here. However, I'll say this, like, making a project is hard. Making a good project is damn hard. And he's made something that works. So tip the hat to that guy. Well done, sir. Thanks for supporting the Pulse Chain ecosystem and Hex as well. So I don't have anything bad to say about that.
I would say my favorite stream though too was definitely like the favorite panel group was definitely the one on day 4 where Axis, Charlie, Hex Monkey, and then Westcott Crypto. Yeah, those 4 guys, they really did some moon math. And I'll tell you what, like, listening to that stuff, I'm like, oh, we're about to take off. Oh, this is gonna be so cool. Green candles. Yeah. I was getting pretty pumped.
Jeff, what you got?
I think that was Axe's actually his second time giving us a shout out. I think he gave us a shout out on day 1 and on day 4, which is awesome. I watch all his stuff. He's probably one of the best in the business in TA. So yeah, TA genius. So I really appreciate the shout out. I got a lot of respect for him. I reached out to him earlier to tell him that. I really enjoyed. Honestly, I'm inquisitive by nature. I love to learn. So I just really enjoyed, just not even when I was on a screen, just watching it and learning and absorbing. I really liked when a bit did the whole PowerPoint slide. I like thoroughly enjoyed that. Like, I had a really good time. I enjoyed that. Like you said, the action stream with Charlie was good. The first action stream with him and RH Max and Miss Princess Tiara girl, what's her name? Nerdy girl. That's it. I really like them. I think they all did a great job. So, no, I think my favorite part of the conference was just watching and learning, to tell you the truth.
For sure. This is probably going to like mark me as the nerdy guy here, but one of the panels that I really enjoyed was David Feeder and Gamma DevOps. It was the panel right before Will, I want to say. They were talking about validators. If I'm not mistaken, David, is it Feeder or Feder? Either way, he's the guy that runs validatorstore.com. So if you're have like any questions or like wonder what it's like to be a validator, not just for Pulse Chain, but for like other stuff as well, the guy's done it. He wrote his own open source code for writing validators. He'll even like either help you build a validator or he just builds them and sells them. So listening to those two guys talk about validators and running networks and nodes, and like it's really highlighting the decentralization of Pulse Chain specifically. That was one of the ones that I enjoyed.
So I got something on that actually. I was just checking out a lot of David's stuff that he's got, and one of the projects that he's working on is the DGen protocol .io, and so it's basically in conjunction. So there's a coin out there called GOAT. I presume it stands for greatest of all time, and it's connected to these GOAT NFTs that allow you to, if you don't want to buy a validator and become like a validating like, person who like sets up the computers and then like runs the internet and then like has to monitor it all the time. If you don't want to like do all the work of being a validator, you can buy an NFT that gets you a share as part of a validator system, and then that's staked out. So like the NFTs are like 500,000 pulse, right? So it would take let's see, if it's 32 million pulse, 32 times 0.5 is or like
64.
32 divided by 0.5. Yeah, so 64. So 64 of these NFTs is the same as having one validator. The validator, the NFTs reward you in the GOAT token, which is redeemable for Pulse Chain at an always. It's always got a positive price action against Pulse Chain because of the way that you can, that the only way that GOAT is created is by by like, or the only way that you can trade GOAT for Pulse is at like there's like a 5% loss or something. There's a transaction fee whenever you switch the GOAT back and forth to Pulse Chain. So GOAT will always be worth at least equal to Pulse Chain or something like that. I might be getting the details all wrong. Go check out the degenprotocol.io. I am going to drop a link to the video that he actually made like 2 days ago describing how the process works. I was just going through it earlier today, and I posted it up in the C to the third power chat that we got going on for the degens from a while back. But it is a Pulse Chain Validator NFT video. Here, I've got it right now.
I think you have your elevator pitch correct, though, which is the basic essence is that, look, if you don't want to run a validator, but you want to be involved, you have the ability to get what is effectively a fractional part of a validator through the NFT. And now you're operating in the system that is additionally built on Pulse Chain. So in my opinion, this is just one more project, one more way to work within the system, and just one more feather in the cap of Pulse Chain of just projects that are working well. And also, this is the big one for me, have use cases. This is an excellent use case because, yeah, it's 32 million pulse to build a validator. Right now, that'll cost you about like $3,000. However, theoretically, if we ever do hit like 1 cent pulse, it's going to be a lot more money. So
I wonder, do you think this guy is secretly a fan of ours?
Oh,
DGen protocol calling us the goats.
So the DGen protocol.
I think we might have just got lucky on that one.
Yeah, I think we got
sure.
lucky. Well, so like everyone in crypto is some sort of DGen, right? So I think that's part of why like we chose the name, is because it's just good branding. Everyone's always talking about DGen. So we're the DGen Roundtable. There's DGen protocol. It's like if we were to call ourselves, the Bitcoin podcast, like that'd be great. That'd be great branding. Like, fantastic choice. Jeff, you're muted there. I saw you. It looked like you were gonna say something. I don't know if you got.
We do have something to throw over to Jeff real quick. We have a new face in the comments. ECBS2K. He's asking, what is the utility of Hex? He wants to learn about it. So, Jeff, can you hit me with your best pitch? What's the use case for Hex?
We've got like 3 or 4 different Hex questions. I'd like to address them all if I can.
Yeah, go
for it. By the way, I'm dealing with a little cold, so if I cough a couple times, I apologize. But okay, what do you guys think of the ETF news? Is it bullish for Hex? Well, as you can already see, how trickle down economics is in cryptocurrency one of the few things that trickle down economics actually works in, with liquidity bonding and stuff like that. But you can already see with today, with the ETF news, Ethereum pumped. Ethereum has liquidity bonding to Ethereum Hex. Ethereum Hex has liquidity bonding to P Hex. P Hex has liquidity bonding to Pulse, yada yada yada, keeps going. But yes, it is bullish. Let alone even if there was no liquidity bonding between Ethereum and Hex, it still shows you that money is moving from Bitcoin down. So yeah, people are going to take profits and go into that. What else we got on here? Where does the 38% APY come from? So there's an origin address that has 90% of the coins. The staking comes from every year. Hex mints. I don't know if mint's the word. It inflates.
Mint is the right word. Yeah.
Okay, cool. It mints 3.69% of the total, but you only get access to that if you stake. The OA never stakes. So therefore, the small 10% of the non-OA coins that choose to stake are receiving the benefits of all that. So once you combine, there's different things you could do to improve how much yield you get. I think you have more and longer. The more money or the more coins you stake and the longer, the better. I believe the max out for the length, the longest you can go is 5.555. But to actually get more T-shirts is 10 years. And somebody said, then what's the point of doing it for 15 years? That's because you lock into T-shares for 5 more years for super cheap. T-shares only get more expensive.
Can I hop in here for a second, Jeff?
Yeah.
So one thing that one thing to keep in mind when you start, so the way that more Hex is created is through the mining, which is what Jeff had just talked about, right? Or not, excuse me, not mining, but burning, right? So when you interact with the Hex contract, what you do is you destroy all of the Hex that you currently have. And what it does is it then gives you a thing called a T-share that Jeff is talking about. And the T-share is essentially just a contract that says every day you're going to get this amount of Hex, right? And right now the daily amount per T-share is like 6.5 Hex. So for every T-share that you have a theoretical 6.5 more Hex added to your theoretical Hex that doesn't exist yet. The only time that Hex exists is at the end of your contract when you hit the end stake button, and then all of the Hex that you were waiting for, that you had destroyed, that had grown via inflation, all these other things, then that Hex is created on that day, and then now that Hex exists in the market. So like the place that Hex comes from is the people who destroy their Hex in the present in order for the promise of more Hex in the future. And the longer that you destroy your Hex for and interact with this contract for, or hold the contract for, I should say, the more Hex that you receive every single day via T-share, right? So like up to 10 years, the length of time that you stake will increase the amount of T-shares that you get all the way up to 10 years. And then after 10 years, the bonus stops. And after that point, you just get the price appreciation of interacting with or of holding the contract, holding the T-shares for a longer period of time, all the way up to 15.2 years. So I want to throw that in there real quick.
I'm going to jump in real quick, if you don't mind, and give my best elevator pitch for this. So what Hex is effectively the blockchain version of a certificate of deposit, or a CD. It is the second most popular financial product that banks offer. What it is the bank effectively guarantees that if you lock up with a certain chunk of money, the minimum I think you can do back in the day was about $500, but they'll increase your interest rate bump it up anywhere like plus 5 or 6%. What this does is it allows the bank to ensure that this money is not going to be taken out for a certain amount of time so that they can lend it out themselves. However, in practice, what this does is it rewards people for delaying gratification. Hex does this on the blockchain by you create a contract with yourself to destroy that certain amount of Hex to create the contract. Then you have to wait a certain amount of time for it to mature, in which case you will get paid out. Theoretically, you can end the stake early if you need, but you can only do so and actually get something out after half of your stake time. But the main point of this is that it is a way to incentivize people to lock value on chain and reward themselves for it in the future. The reason that this is important is because it creates confidence and trust inside of a blockchain system itself. A lot of times people are worried that they might get rug pulled, all the liquidity is going to be gone, all the money is going to get sucked out of the chain. However, if you start working with this stat called total value locked on chain, you're creating trust and confidence inside of itself. On a little bit of a side note, honestly, that's part of the reason that the Hex conference itself exists, because Hex is a very grassroots group, for the lack of better term, which is that we are all individuals out here trying to maximize our stake and find an asset that is going to do the test of time. Blocking it up, streaming together, working together, talking together builds confidence, builds trust, builds community. And that's what we're also trying to do here. So any comments?
That's perfect.
Y'all nailed it. Basically everything else says facts. Another thing, like me and Will said, that the 10 years max, and after that you don't get any more. You just lock into T-shares for longer. Also, I believe the maximum for the amount is 150 million hex. I think anything after 100, it's either 50 million or 150 million. But
so that's the bonus. That's the bonus max. You can stake as much hex as you want for as long as you want. It's just you get an increased incentive all the way up to 100 million hex. So the bigger the better.
And let's go ahead and plug some resources Let's plug some resources real quick. If you want to learn more about Hex, go check out hexscout.com. It is a website that is designed to teach you about A, cryptocurrency in general, but B, Hex, how it works, and why it's a good idea. On top of that, if you want to get into some of the stats for it, go check out hexfire.io. This was created by a friend of the channel. Crap. I can't remember his username right now. I don't want to say his real name out loud, but...
Did you say Hexfire? Yeah, that's Crispy Man.
Yeah,
Crispy Man, thank you.
Yeah, because he's on fire.
Brother, how could I forget?
He's on fire.
True. Yeah, so Hexfire.io is going to be where you can go see stats about payouts for the day, stakes, how much a T-share costs over time, and it also gives you projections for the future in case you want to know. And then last, to reiterate, hexscout.com, best way to onboard people into the space. And if you're looking for Pulse Chain access things, gopulse.com is one of the ones that will show you prices for everything, and gorealdefi.com is a great way to find all of the different products and ways to interact with Pulse Chain in the space.
Sure. Zenith, you might have said this, but maybe you didn't. I had a lot going on in my brain. Did you bring up there's no middlemen in Hex or no?
I think we might have mentioned it, but we didn't specifically call it out. So you might have heard us talk about how with Hex, when you do stake it, you are creating a contract with yourself. What this means is that, like Jeff is saying, there's no middleman. You're not going to someone else to have them do a thing to then come back to you with a thing that you then have to go back to them to redeem in the future.
Celsius.
Pretty much, yeah. This is, if you stick around in the space, one of the things that we're going to talk about is how centralized exchanges are honestly one of the weak points right now, because you are effectively trusting an exchange with money and also trusting that they're going to give you crypto if you buy it on their site and then send it to your wallet. So I think the Coast team are some guys that are trying to figure out a way to better solve that problem. But at the same time, again, Hex is a protocol. It is lines of code that are operating on a decentralized network, and you can choose to interact with it and do everything yourself. There is no middleman. It is just you and the contract and your keys and coins. That's it.
For sure.
And I would like to bring up...
I'm sorry, Nate, go ahead. But I do have one more point I'd like to make. Actually, 2 more points about Hex.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just he was asked, his first question was the ETF news is bullish for Hex. So I was going to cover that for him, kind of make it super simple and easy for him to understand.
Maybe is the correct answer. That's all you get from me, though. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff, what did you have?
Well, shoot, I forgot. Oh, so I wanted to give an example. So I actually had money. I had Matic on Celsius while Richard was warning about it, and that Matic went forever. Thank God it wasn't a lot, but Celsius was a program where you give them your coins, you stake, and you get yield. I think it was like 10% actually back in the day. They did Ethereum, a few other ones, Matic, but yeah, the beauty of this is there is no middleman. That's the genius part of a smart contract. There's nothing that gets in your way. You are conducting business with yourself. That, and I think another thing that people don't realize with Hex is how like brilliant the T-shares are. Everybody's like, well, why are T-shares important? Why are T-shares important? You're getting APY regardless. So the simple fact that T-shares cost more Hex in the future is another way. And Johnny Chaos actually said this. I've been planning to say this for a month when I wanted to come up with my Hex stream, but he said it, and I'm like, great. Now people are going to think I stole it, but no, Johnny said it. Of course, of course. But T-shares act as a simulation of compounding interest without having to compound, without having to add. If T-shares only go up in price, then theoretically it is compounding. The more the T-shares, your T-shares are locked in. So as it compounds, you're compounding interest. You're getting more you're getting more yield for not having to add any more capital. So I always thought that was the brilliant part of the T-share. Oh, I'm sorry.
Not only are the T-shares compounding, but also in the future you get more rewards per T-share as well. So it's doubling up on that.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's awesome.
That's why you stake 555. So that's it. That's
sure.
You'll get a lot. You will get a lot out of that in 15 years.
Hex is my favorite protocol. If I have one favorite protocol, it's Hex.
Shout out to Will. Look at that sick Quattro Cinco tat there.
Quattro Cinco, baby.
There you
Stake
go.
5555. That's how you know it. That's how you know.
Yes.
Mexican for life, I guess. I guess I could get it removed, but that ain't gonna happen. I like this shit. This is cool.
I hope we answered your questions.
If you have any other questions, please put them in the chat. We'll try to answer them as much as we can. And by the way, it's not just us. We have a bunch of other people like A-Bit Hex is in here as well. And I'm sure he'd be more than happy to help answer some questions as well. So
shout out to A-Bit, Agent Jay Schroth, Paul Sachs, Fast Abdul again. Hell yeah, it's good to see all the fam in the chat.
Yeah, Agent Jay's in the chat. Can we pull up his comment? Quick shout out to Agent Jay.
Before we do that, so I would like to. Before we do that, I'd like to answer this for him.
Yeah, we can get to that.
So, is it bullish for Hex? Yes. The reason why is because ultimately, the flows of money, right? So everyone buys up Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up. Then from Bitcoin, it's going to flow into Ethereum, in which Ethereum is, as you stated already, Jeff. E-Hex or Ethereum Hex and Ethereum are actually bonded together. So if you're thinking about it, it's kind of like this, right? So if Ether starts going up, so is Hex, right? And so maybe it's like that and a little bit slower, but the liquidity, the total liquidity is lower on Hex. And so ultimately it takes less money to move it, right? So as ETH is going up, right? And more people are starting to dump that into altcoins because that's the flow of money in crypto. That's going to end up going into Hex, which is ultimately going to pump it through the sky. So yes, the more money that's in Bitcoin is the more money that is in Ethereum, which is the more money that's going to be in Hex ultimately. And then from there, it flows on into Pulse Chain. And then you get like P-Hex, Pulse Chain, Pulse X, and all these ones. And so that's where things start pumping. That's also why you're seeing Bitcoin going up. And maybe like ETH really hasn't gone up all that much. Well, what did we see from the from the ETF already? Everybody's been dumping Bitcoin directly into ETH. Now, ETH, pretty soon people are going to, as soon as that starts really pumping hard, that's going to be flowing and dumping into altcoins, which was going to be EHEX. And then again, yeah. So
trickle down economics.
Boom.
Or you could call it Hart's Law. That's what
Hart's Law.
Hart's talked about. And then I'll try to expand on this a little bit. When specifically talking about market flow with where value goes, depending on where you are in the market, on the small time scale, smaller coins, lower cap. So what we're talking about is lower market cap, lower liquidity as well. What happens there is that they have the ability to move more volatilely. So they move faster and harder than some of the big players like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Shoot, back in the day, I think Elon Musk announced that Tesla and his own personal wallets were trying to see and test how deep the market was. I want to say they moved $100 million worth of Bitcoin and the price barely moved more than 1%. So that market is super deep. The other markets, not nearly as much. So short time frame. If Bitcoin does well, you will probably see altcoins do well as well. We're not talking like go to the moon or anything, but you will see very similar patterns with Bitcoin goes up, the altcoin also goes up a little bit. But then for the macro cycle as a whole, you can go look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. What this is it looks at the entirety of crypto as a market and tries to quantify it. And this one specifically says what portion of the market of the value is locked in Bitcoin versus everything else. Right now, you're going to see that we're above 50% Bitcoin dominance. What that means is that Bitcoin is the big mover right now. Bitcoin is where the majority of the value is located. eventually, as the market moves later into the 4-year cycle, we're just coming off the bottom. We're about a year past it now, and we have basically like 2 more years to go up before we go back down again. As we start getting later in the 4-year cycle, what you're going to notice is that Bitcoin dominance is going to drop. Bitcoin will move first, and then everything else will follow, and eventually start making gains that are even better and higher than Bitcoin. So where does Hex fall into that? A little bit of that later altcoin camp itself. So we're going to, in my opinion, we've seen it in the past, and I think the trend will continue. Bitcoin moves first, then Ethereum and other layer 1 tokens, then altcoins, and if you're real degen, maybe some NFTs. But those are going to move fast, hard. They're going to hit their top and then go right back down. That's what I got.
And I'm just going to add on real quick too for ECB S2K. Yeah, if you have any more questions, I gave you the DeFi Llama for Hex right there. All your questions right now are going to be answered through that. So go ahead, just take a visit to over there, deep dive it a bit. You are not going to be disappointed. I am extremely bullish on Hex, and I mean the rest of us in here are. It is an incredible cryptocurrency, that's for sure. And if you're going to be looking into Hex, I would suggest you go over to Pulse Chain as well. Check out Pulse Chain because that is one of my, well, not one of my, it is my favorite place to be. So yeah.
We got a bit Hex in the chat here saying that market cap is a vanity metric, and I will say a bit Hex, you are absolutely right. We have a silly little meme coin in the DGen Roundtable community called the DRT coin, and for a short period of time there was incredibly low liquidity in the coin, and we had like an $80,000 market cap with like $200 of liquidity or something, and so it was very funny to see. So like market cap is irrelevant. The thing that you want to pay attention to, ECBS2K, is you want to pay attention to how much liquidity that there is in a market, like how much money is on the
as well.
how much is in the offers and in the bids. So like let's say you had 100,000 apples at your house and the price of apples is $1. You don't have $100,000, you have 100,000 apples. And if when you go to market, there's only somebody at the market who wants to buy $10 worth of apples and nobody else wants to buy apples, then congratulations, you're 100, like 90, like the majority of your apples are useless because you can only exit $10 worth. Now, and when you're like going on a decentralized exchange, it's even worse because like since there's only $10 in the offers, like on the offer side, like the price of the apples is going to skyrocket significantly the closer you get to spending all 10 of those dollars. So it's not like a 1-for-1 swap in the cryptosphere. So the important thing to keep to pay attention to is the liquidity, the total value locked, which it's not really even locked. People can pull liquidity and add liquidity at any time.
It tells you a lot about like the community though, and how much people believe in it.
Exactly. Like the higher the liquidity, like the closer the liquidity is to the market cap, like the less price fluctuation there's going to be and the more belief there is in the coin. So like Bitcoin has a crazy amount of liquidity and it's also got a crazy high market cap, but that's people who have their coins open in the marketplace. So I hope that's a nice succinct little thing, and we can get back on track for wherever this show's supposed to be going.
We will get back on track. However, I'm going to add one last anecdote to that. Previously on another show, we were talking about trying to figure out which cryptocurrency actually has the fewest coins in circulation. Meanwhile, one of our good friends of the channel, Crypto Sloth, decided that he wanted to be the crypto coin with the least amount of coins. So he literally made a token while we were live. This happened in like 30 minutes. He made a token called 1 of 1. Gave us the link for it. We went and looked it up. We're like, oh, cool. It's like $1. 10 minutes later, he was like, hey, guys, go check out the price. It literally was like $4.5 million. And then he told us to go check the price 10 minutes later, and it had sunk back below $1.
Yep.
He managed to do all this with like 3 wallets. So it just goes to show.
Probably,
Exactly. This is exactly the point, which is that with low liquidity and low market cap stuff, these numbers can get fudged real easy. You actually have to have the wallets and the addresses and all of the extra value trying to come into the chain and interact with it, as opposed to just these tiny little microtransactions that you can jack up real hard and then also go down the other way just as hard, or if not faster. So be careful and understand what we're working with here.
Yeah, that's how people rug pull all the time.
Precisely.
Yeah, and that's
Alrighty.
actually right what Paul says here. I just want to do a quick shout out
Do it.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the liquidity and positioning of you versus the other players holding liquid is everything. General rule of thumb: it's better to be a small fish in a big pond. Liquidity. So I would argue against that and say unless you're a degen, because then if you have actually I do a few of these too. These are meme coins usually. These are ones I'm diving into that are like maybe 5,000 of liquidity. Have been created like an hour ago or so, and you can throw like $100 in there, and that $100 can very, very easily jump to like 1,000 or whatever very quickly. But then you need to pull out, and see that's where you get into those rug pulls.
Yep.
Risk tolerance.
Risk tolerance is massive in this game. All right, gentlemen, are we ready to get back on track? Allegedly,
I am ready.
All right, we're going to get back to more Hex Conference talk, but real quick, I do want to give a shout out to a channel member, Agent J, our TA specialist. We do want to wish him a speedy recovery. He's a little under the weather right now, but he will be back soon for our mega TA stream so that he can talk TA with a bunch of other fantastic folks. I want to say that is next Wednesday. Am I right? I think so.
Oh my God, it was
Josh will double check me if I'm wrong. So, can I get that comment again? I forgot to read it. I'm so sorry.
While
I'm
you're
giving the production
pulling
team
that
a hell
up,
of a time.
Nate, and Jeff had moved their heads in such a manner that it looked like they were almost kissing on stream for a second there. So I just wanted to, revel in that moment.
Did you get jealous? This is
A
a
little
jealousy
bit.
thing, isn't it?
Well, you know, my feelings are my own. My feelings are my own. That's all
Fair
I gotta
enough.
say. I thought it was funny
Yeah.
though. That was good. Very organic.
sure.
Did you pull up
I'm
that comment?
He's
Or,
working on it. I'm so sorry,
shit.
Cassie.
Yeah, it's all
giving you
good.
hell, aren't I?
I think
We'll
it talks
find
about that hex. It cannot be hacked. There's no middleman. There's no smart contract. There's no admin keys. I think that's what he's saying, and he's true. If you're dealing with hex and you lose money, it's because you made an error. The protocol didn't make an error. You messed up.
Yep. There's only like 3,000 lines of code or something, and it is super interesting. Like nobody. So it's basically like if somebody shows you like a blueprint of something, you have to go and build it. You have to go and do the thing. All that it is it's just like it's like a hey, like you can run this execution thing, and then you can choose to not run it. You're like the person who is paying the gas fee is the person who is making the stuff go. And like I don't know how an air conditioner works. I don't know how a bank works. I don't know how to purify water. There's many things in life that I don't know. I just know that things function. And my understanding of is that Hex cannot be hacked because like it's super duper audited code, very easy, very simple, very succinct, and yeah, and nobody else can interact with it but you. Now you can get hacked. Somebody can go up behind you with a mace and fucking clobber you over the head and steal your coins, larceny style, which is one of the best ways to get rich. Again, that's financial advice. Go steal things from people. Just kidding. Don't do that. That's bad.
All right, so we have our comment from our very own Agent J here. He's talking about Hex is not easy to hack because there are no admin keys. It is fully decentralized. The only one who interacts with the contract is you. Yes, this is one of those things. Hex and PulseChain, for the matter of fact, have been audited like multiple times. One of the things that Richard Hart and a lot of Hexicans like to flex is that Hex has perfect 100% uptime. The network has not been down, it has never been hacked, and it has never not operated. So that's the beauty of it. All right, we are back on track. So
yes,
Hex Conference is coming to an end. We've had our full 4 days, and the only thing left for us to do is the world record attempt. So I wanted to do a little bit of reflection on the Hex Conference as a whole. I mentioned it early that Hex is very much one of the most grassroots communities that you can find in the cryptosphere. And what do you guys think that the Hex Conference means to the community?
Oh, well, like the Hex Conference is the community. Like that's the like the Hex Conference is the amalgamation of all the people putting their energy in and actually like doing something, right? So like plenty of people own Hex. There's like a couple 100,000 wallets that have Hex or like have bought Hex or have T-shares or have interacted with the contract in some way, shape, or form, right? So like those people are all like owners of the thing, but they don't all necessarily like do anything with that ownership. Not everyone's out there, you know, creating podcasts or going around and talking to other folks, or creating courses, or putting stickers. Oh goodness, did I just cut out? Okay, my
You're
monitor
good, brother.
turned off there. Okay, so I thought my computer shut down.
I can't hear you, Will.
Oh no!
Stop it.
Oh
Go. You're
God!
good. You're good.
Oh, you bastard! Damn it, where was I? Oh yeah, so the short and sweet of your question is like the conference is the amalgamation of like the Hex community. Like even if you're not a streamer, even if you're not a person who goes and like actively like does things, like you can watch other people that are doing so. It's like, if you don't play sports ball, you can pull up some sports ball on your TV and feel good about your team winning, right? Like when we have the Hex conference, it is everybody winning. It's everybody like talking about the projects they've made, talking about their wins, talking about their losses. Like it's a community. So like the Hex conference is the community. That's how I see it anyways. So if anyone's got something better than that, let's hear it. Or worse or different or whatever, I'm sure
I don't know if it's better, but I'll say this, and it's pretty short and sweet. The Hex conference means enough that Richard Hart tweeted about it, and so I think that's a pretty strong statement that the originator of the cryptocurrency itself thought enough of the conference to give it a shout out. So I think that speaks volumes of what the Hex conference and people that put it on, like Maddie and everybody. There's a lot of effort. Like the amount of effort that Maddie probably has to put into this is like mind boggling, of the stuff that he was like orchestrating behind the scenes. Like it was, I'm sure it was a lot.
You're absolutely right. It's not just Maddie either. He had a full team to make sure that this thing runs smoothly, make sure that everybody's there on time. We all got the right background and all that stuff. Like this is a full-fledged production, and it is the 4th year. And I got to say, they do a damn good job. And this thing has only gotten bigger and bigger, and they're even going for that world record stream. So like, God bless whatever tech people are on that. Hats off to you guys.
Yep. I was actually a little flex here. I keep talking about Crypto Kool-Aid guy. I found out just the other day that he had created, like, so this is the background that they use for this conference, but like for the first conference ever, like Crypto Kool-Aid is the one who created like the background, and it's like this whole like video game like room thing. It's almost like a VR thing that like you can walk around and do stuff in, but I think that was super cool to watch him like show off that thing. So big shout out to everybody that helps out Matty Allen and that does like awesome things for the community. Like without you guys, like this would all be done. And big shout out to Sticker Guy. I know that like Sticker Guy, that dude's so fucking cool, man. Like I was chilling with him in the green room, and after we did the meetup thing, I hopped back into the green room as I was telling you guys before we started the show, and I was just chit chatting with him, and he was super excited. He loves what he does, and like it's kind of tragic because he doesn't get to watch the conference until like after it's all over, because he has to like pay attention to all the timelines and do all the stuff, and so he can't be listening and learning. He has to basically like take his cues and work from there. So big shout out to Sticker Guy.
Absolutely. Alrighty, we do have one more person on the panel I want to hear their opinion on. Nate, what do you think the Hex conference means to the community?
I agree. The Hex conference is Hexicans, quite frankly. The entire point of Hex is, quite frankly, to come together and celebrate what it is that Richard Hart has created. Richard Hart has purposely made something who he himself wants to try and help as many people as possible. Hexicans have a tendency to go out and help other people, and then we can all get together and just be a community together. It's why we are the #1 community in all of crypto. So, quite frankly, and think about it this way too. Like, who else is doing this in the crypto community space? Like, just in crypto space in general, nobody. Right.
I say RG3 is doing something pretty comparable. Different technically, but pretty comparable.
Are you talking about other coins, Nate?
I think Nate's talking about other.
Oh,
other
sorry, my bad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, correct. Nate is 100% correct. Keep going.
Yes. And I mean, yeah, shout out to RG3, with the whole Pulse Chain tour and all that as well. SJ and all them. That's fantastic. And quite frankly, here's the thing that Hexicans have a tendency of doing, right? If we don't get our way with something, we will make our own way. That is extreme. And so like when you're talking about, you know, like pulse chain and all that, that's the newer stuff, right? From the original Hex token, which would be Ethereum Hex. Pulse chain has become, quite frankly, a better working Ethereum. Let's just go ahead and say much cheaper gas fees and everything, and it makes doing things, just like farming, whether you're trading, no matter what it is, it makes things a lot funner, right? Because you're not paying freaking $100 or maybe like $15, whatever, to you know, put your money into a shit coin. So yeah, and yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and end it there. The Hex conference is one of the coolest things put together, because quite literally it is all the people who love crypto, who love helping people, teaching people, and just love the community in general are there to talk with each other and talk with everyone else about this thing that has helped a lot of people. And I think that's the most important thing that you need to understand, is that Hex has helped a lot of people. That's why people love it so much.
I completely agree. I'm going to jump in on this one. So I got two takes for it. And one is from the viewer standpoint, and the other is from a creator standpoint. Now that I was graced with my 2 minutes of fame talking with Matty Allen for a testimonial. As a viewer, I think the Hex conference is fantastic because it highlights members of the community that you might never even know about and people you might not ever interact with. The fact is that cryptocurrency shows and crypto shows on YouTube are very small. Like, I think some of our biggest personalities have like 32,000 subscribers on YouTube. So in retrospect, this is a pretty small space. We're very, I'm not gonna say inbred community, but it's very small and it's kind of hard to find people. The Hex conferences is a massive spotlight for creators to show we are out here, we are trying to build stuff, and we're trying to get everyone involved and try to talk to you. So it's a perfect one-stop shop to try to go find people and find topics that you might not even be interested in. Like for me, how often do we talk about validators? Answer, like never. I think the tech side of that's very cool, and it's awesome to have multiple people who are been there, done that, and still working on validators and tech stuff. So switching over to the content creator standpoint, if you are in the Hex space, which by the way, if you want to be in the Hex space, you can totally be in the Hex space, or just the crypto space in general. Fun fact, none of us were streaming like less than 7 months ago, and now here we are on the Hex conference. It's fantastic. The grassroots organization is absolutely there. There's room for everybody, and I think that everyone has the ability to go learn something and figure out something and present their information to the group so that we all can learn, or at least keep building on the knowledge that we already had, or even make some things deeper, more technical, more widely versed, whatever. And then additionally, the cross-pollination is fantastic. Having the panels with everybody starts getting the personalities together. You might find someone that you really gel with that you never knew before, and now you have a perfect person to start streaming with, chatting with, or even just cross-pollinate your communities, start merging them together. Because I'll tell you this much. We're only going to get bigger from here, and the only place to go is up. We're pretty much we've been at the bottom. We literally were at the bottom of the market a year ago. So now it's definitely a time to shine. And once the bull market comes, I think everyone is going to be just winning nonstop.
Yeah, this is the time to get in. Like, we're starting to pump now, right? We're up what is it, like 2x or whatever?
We've pretty much 2x in the last like month.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You need to get in now. It's still cheap, very undervalued as of currently. And generally, when you start getting, especially people need to realize this, right? When you start getting into, you know, the bull run ramping up, what you absolutely have to do is look around and see what is still cheap. Because if you're just like, you know, if you're like, oh, Chainlink, you know, that's a great one, or Solana, that's a great one. I want that, right? Well, if you're looking at it right now, it's really, really pumped. And then you start thinking, okay, well, all-time highs, how many X's is that? You know, it's only 2 or 5 from here. And it's like, is that what you want? Do you want to buy into something where you're only getting 5 X's? We're here to make money, man. So what you want to do is start looking around for things that haven't quite pumped yet. And even though we are pumping now, we are very low because of all the fudders and everything. So this is a great price. You know, it was a lot better, you know, just a month ago. But as of right now, it's still at a good price. You want to be buying in.
That's a great
It's still
point.
a
As far
nice-
as go for
Go
it,
ahead.
Jeff.
I was going to say, we're not even back. Oh, I don't know if we're talking about Hex or not, but if we're talking about the whole ecosystem, we're not even back to sack rates yet. So I doubt Richard Hart made this protocol. So most of the people that sacrificed would be underwater. So you're still ridiculously early in my point of view. Like right now, okay, Pulse X just hit 308, which is awesome. I'm glad to see a 3 on Pulse X. Pulse 954, and we're looking at PHEX 175 and EHEX at a penny, which yeah, a penny, it's still 52x away from its all-time high. That's 52. That's just getting back to your all-time high. That's it. That's not surpassing it.
50 just to get back to the all-time high.
Just to get back. With low liquidity, which means if there's a big buy, it can rocket.
It's definitely
Exactly.
possible.
Exactly.
I'll say this about, I want to talk about, so like marketing from the Hex conference. The Hex conference, are we all talking about the same product that we're hoping to make money on? Yes. Are any of us trying to sell people a shitcoin that we built? No. We're invested in this for sure. And there is room for more people. And the room that is there, it is not exit liquidity. The people in the Hex conference are not trying to dump on anyone or each other for that matter. A lot of the people are staked out, Quattro Cinco, staked out a long time. And if anything, we understand that the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin is going to affect us all, and it's going to affect everything together. We are learning. We are working together. This is not dog eat dog. There's room for everybody to win here. And we're not trying to use each other or rug pull each other. Richard Hart created this whole thing a long time ago. The OA address is not getting touched. It has not been touched. There are no admin keys. It's not going anywhere. That's great news. So enjoy the ride and understand that the more people that we can get into this, the more that we can all win together. I know I'm probably a broken record at this point, but Metcalfe's law is the one that says that the value of a networking organization or structure is exponentially equal to the amount of people inside of it. So the more people you bring in, the more money we're all going to make together, including those people that you're bringing in. So the only way is up.
Correct. I think the way in crypto, or so far it's worked, is I think it's 1,000%. I think so. For every user you bring in, the profits times 10. So say you bring in 1,000 new, whatever the market cap is. I think if you believe in,
a 10x on market cap is 100x on the price.
A 10x in users, not market cap. I apologize.
Users.
10, yeah, I messed you up. A 10x in users is 100x in value. And you know what? I wanted to speak, Zenith, you brought up the OA. Now, let me see. If I'm the OA and I have all these coins, what would be the last thing I want to do? I know, sell any of them so people that I'm selling them on chain. Liquidity. He would nuke his own bags. So why would I want to destroy something that I created and also lose money in the process? It doesn't make sense. So let's say theoretically he owns 98% of the market cap, but there's only 1/10 of the market cap in liquidity. So I'm gonna burn 90% of what I own. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I'm gonna keep rambling all night. I'll let y'all go.
No, you got a great point with that. The OA address has been the origin address, excuse me, is one of those things that's been listed as potentially a liability. However, at the same time, it's largely controlled by the guy who wants to see this whole thing succeed. The man has enough money already. Exactly like he said, moving those OA coins is only going to be the death of Hex, and that is not something that Richard wants. Again, I go back to the glory comment, which is that he wants to win. Moving that is not winning.
Yeah, and see, here's the other thing too. I've found a couple of things and formed a strategy, a possible strategy in the future that ultimately means that even if you put the money in now into Hex, Pulse Chain, and all that, and then all of a sudden we start ramping up, there's actually not going to be nearly as much sell pressure as you might think, because there is some stuff going on behind the scenes. And I have an entire thing that I've written out in our Telegram chat about that. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, I can go into even deeper with it. For me, I personally just did it as like a TLDR. It's kind of like step 1, 2, 3, and this is how it's going to go. But yes, so get into our Telegram because that is some special knowledge right there that I have done a lot of research on. And yeah, hit it up.
Speaking of the Telegram, Will Stevenson, do you happen to have a Bitly memorized?
I do happen to have a Bitly memorized. If you are a person who has ears, well, I can't memorize a QR code, but I can memorize a Bitly. Bitlys are easy. So if you want to join our Telegram, the thing that you have to do is go up to your uniform resource locator, which is the bar at the top of your Internet Explorer. You click on it and you type in bit.ly/degenerate_roundtable. And that will take you directly. And you know what? Because I am such a benevolent God, I will also drop for you the link of the thing that I just said. I'm going to drop that down in the chat. But anyways, what that will do is that will take you directly to our Telegram group, which is free for now. You guys can join our Telegram group, be part of the conversation, come chit chat with us, pick our brains on things. We've got tons of founders in there. We've got tons of OG Hexicans in there. We've got tons of like just crypto savvy people. Like period. You can ask questions, you can hang out, you can shoot the shit. You know, it's a valuable place to be, and it's a relatively small community as of now. It's not one of those like large Telegram groups that's got 40 admins and like freaking 70,000 people, and half of it's all like combots, like asking you questions like, "Hey, if you're a real person, can you solve this captcha?" and blah 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 blah. Right? So it's very homey, it's very small, it's very nice. So join our Telegram. That's bit.ly/degenerate_roundtable. Right? And it's in
Yeah,
the
there's a
chat.
lot of alpha that goes on in there too. There's
Yes, indeed.
you're gonna want to be in there, trust me.
Definitely. For folks that are new to the channel, the lore behind the Telegram and the formation of the group is that we're an outgrowth of the Crypto Mindset course. Charlie and Miguel are our rich dads, so to speak. They had their own Telegram chat for the courses where people try to answer as many questions as they possibly can. A large outgrowth of our community is just people that were trying to help each other out as much as possible. And we just wanted to ensure that we weren't clogging up their network space with us trying to ask and answer dumb questions. So please feel free to ask whatever you want. Fun fact, the Telegram is still exactly that way. It's just people trying to help people so that we can all understand and learn how to operate in this space together. This is a new space. There's a lot of learning to go on. There's a lot of like just new concepts, like so many of the things that we take for granted with modern like computing stuff, with like Excel, Outlook, Word. It's just stuff that you kind of learned like 10-15 years ago, and it's almost double nature now. Like the other day I was thinking about like, how do I intrinsically know that double clicking on a file will open it? Because I've done it a million times. Crypto is eventually going to become the same way. How do I know that this transaction needs me to sign verifying it and then sign actually approving the transaction to punch the gas in and get it going? You're going to learn that by doing it. So if you want to learn, join the Telegram. We're happy to answer your questions. You can literally at any of us and try to get back to you as quickly as possible with the best answer we can. Or we'll just at least post some decent memes along the way.
And someone else will probably. There's also there's something I wanna hit on a topic, just kind of like a quick little caveat. I don't know if that's the right word, but a quick little thought off of what you were saying, and that's that like there's no such thing as stupid questions, only stupid people that don't know how to ask good questions. Right. So if you ask a stupid question, we're not gonna rip you to shreds for it. We'll give you the answers. We'll give you the stuff that you need. The thing that we're focused on in our Telegram is giving people the tools to enable them to help themselves better, and like getting people educated to the point where they become self-sovereign over their own like knowledge base and information base. So if you want to learn how to ask good questions, I highly recommend that you listen to the book Scivive, SCIVIVE. You can find that at t.me/Scivive, spelled the exact same way, SCIVIVE. You know what? Because I'm a benevolent God, I will drop the link in the chat, as I seem to be the person to be doing this for this stream. But
thank you, Mr. Linksman.
Yeah, Scivive will show you how to fix many things in your life, and one of those is how to ask good questions. And the basic gist of it is, for me to kind of sum it up in one thing, is you need to show interest. You need to show that you are invested in the question. You need to show that you're like doing a little bit of work to try and figure it out on your own, and you need to have some sort of action plan. So that's the general basic gist of how to ask a good question. So go check out Scivive. I'm pulling up the link right now. While I'm doing that, somebody else start doing some talking.
I'm going to start doing some talking. Folks, if you have any last questions for the stream, please drop them in the chat now. We will try to get to them. I'm looking over at you, ECBS2K. If you got any more Hex questions, let us know. We'll try to answer it, or someone in the chat's going to answer it, or we probably will carry it over to the Telegram chat and then try to talk about it more in there. Jeff, I interrupted you. What do you got, brother?
No, you're good. I was just while we're talking, I like to look at the charts because you were talking about DGen Roundtable, and just for fun, I pulled up the DRT token, and it's over the last 24 hours, it's up almost 7% on Pulse, which is cracking me up.
Wait, what?
The DRT token, it's up 7%.
Oh my god, killer! That's what I like to hear, boys.
The crypto sloth made us this token to show an example of how to make a token, and some benevolent god keeps deciding to put liquidity into it, and the price keeps going up, and for me it just tickles me to death. I think it's absolutely hilarious.
For the people out there, we're not shilling this. This is not something that you should throw your life savings into. This was a test of or proof of concept, and honestly, just a fun meme.
Whatever you want.
Yeah. Go buy. Now, we're not saying buy this. You'd be much smarter buying Hex. But
correct.
Yes, don't buy us.
ECBS 2K. He asked Pepe coin or Hex.
Whatever the fuck you want, bro. I don't know what your risk tolerance is.
No, if you go into Pepe, it'll have its time in the sun. Sure.
Go buy eggs and then leave them out on the sidewalk and see what happens. No, you need to You need to know the things, right? So if you're asking, so what you should not be asking is Pepe or Hex. What you should be asking is, what is the benefits of Pepe? What are the benefits of Hex? What are the pros of Pepe? What are the cons of Pepe? Like the same thing with Hex, right? So
that's well said.
Me personally, I have a high tolerance for risk. Not everyone has the same high tolerance for risk as I do, right? Not everyone makes the same money that I do. Some people make more, some people make less. People who make boatloads of more money. Exactly, right? Like I'm going to do a whole bunch of risky things because that's what makes me happy, and that's what I think will, maybe make me rich. But in the meantime, I'm getting this massive dopamine hit. So I will tell you
Will, what does your shirt say?
Oh, my shirt says "Bad Idea." Bad Idea T-shirt. Can we?
There you go. So just for context, who we're talking to?
For our producer lady, can you zoom in on me for a moment, please, so the folks can see without me doing my. Thank you.
Show the folks at home.
Yeah, so Bad Idea T-shirts, and if you really want to, I'll drop you the link in the chat below so you can find these shirts as well. Since I'm dropping so many links, I'm going to drop the contact address for the DGen Roundtable token. There it is. You can find.
Go be entertained.
do whatever you want with it, right? Take a look at the liquidity. Take a look at the history. Take a look at who's buying. Take a look at who's selling. Try and learn how things function, right? So the DGen Roundtable token has been a fantastic teaching tool. Now I'm gonna go back to your question about Pepe coin or Hex, and I'm going to give you the information as best I understand about both of them, and I'm not going to tell you which one to buy. I know which one I would buy because of I have principles and things, and so I will try to give you objective information, the positive and the negative for each of them. So Pepe is a coin that did what was it, 300,000x. So it went from like 0 to just above 0 to very crazy high number, right? And then what is Hex? Hex has done a very similar thing. Hex went from very low to very high over a much longer time span with a much more sticky community that sticks around and actually interacts with each other. You don't hear about Pepe conferences. You hear about Hex conferences, right? So I'm giving you a little bit of my colored opinion here. Lots of people say lots of things about each of the token. There's plenty of people that say positive things about Pepe. There's plenty of people that say positive things about Hex. If I had to put a weight in either one of those, I would say that there's more people saying positive things about Pepe, and there's probably more people saying negative things about Hex. Now, the words that people say are not generally indicative of what is true and what is correct. You have to figure it out on your own. Me personally, I would buy Hex over Pepe simply because I think that Hex is the better investment. Pepe is the better risky play. I made a lot of money off of Pepe because I was like, okay, I'm going to throw some silly money into this silly thing at a silly time. And I got a nice return on it. But I'm not keeping my money in Pepe. Pepe is not a good long-term store of value. Pepe is a short, quick, fast-burning candle that lit up like crazy and did some awesome things. Hex has been sticky. Hex is around for 4 years. Hex has gone crazy high up. It's gone crazy high down. And there's this fantastic community of people that rotate around the value system that is Hex, whether the price is high or whether the price is low. I don't know how many people stick around Pepe when the price was low. I know for a fact there's a ton of people that stick around Pepe when the price is high, but I have reason to believe that that's only because the green candles went so high so fast, and it was such like a cool, crazy thing that people just like went super duper like ridiculous euphoric over it. So,
That
anyways,
is the lifespan of meme coins. Pepe
Yep.
is absolutely a meme coin. Sorry, I'm jumping in here.
no,
Nate is
that-
also correct, which is that
Yeah.
Pepe is a cryptocurrency, which means, sure, it'll probably have its moment in the sun, but also understand that that moment is going to be like 5 seconds long, which is that the price chart is going to look like it chops along for a long time, and then it's going to spike massively real quick, and then it's going to dump massively real quick. The key is you got to... Getting lucky is absolutely kind of a factor with meme coins. You got to make, like, the reason that Dogecoin became what it is because they got lucky and Elon Musk thought it was funny and tweeted it out. That's really the reason for it. There's no fundamentals behind it. There's not really a community. And if you go back and look at those charts, they go up very quick and they come right back down real quick. So if you can figure out somehow to capitalize on that top point, that's the ticket. But good luck doing that. None of us really know where the market's going on any like given moment. I know we know the 4-year cycle. That's pretty well known at this point. But between point A and B, it can go anywhere.
Yeah, and the thing about that you got to think about too is how many coins, meme coins that may or may not take off are there? Like, I think it's like 30,000 somewhere in there. What's the lucky one? What's the lucky one you want to go pick? I mean,
yeah.
Good luck.
I'll just say I don't own any Pepe, if that helps.
I own
No
a
s-
very
no skin
small
in the
amount
game.
just to keep track of the price, but I have sold all of my useful Pepe. I'm looking up right now in my history, Alan LePage, the DGen protocol. Oh, it looks like somebody else has already.
Yeah,
DGen
Z already went and got the actual
Yep. So that's the
website
website.
itself, and then I posted the YouTube.
Oh, you're the you guys are fucking best.
dgenprotocol.io?
Hell yeah. Yeah.
DJ.
I
Perfect.
missed
All
those
right.
for some reason.
And we're the goats,
Ele-
apparently.
Excellent.
Elaine, Mr. LePage, if you have any more questions, let us know or let us know in the Telegram. We'll get back to you as quickly as we can. All right,
Mhm.
gentlemen, it is about that time in the show.
Oh,
So
snap.
we're going to start going around the horn. I'm going to do a little bit of different order. Mr. Nate, where can the people find you? What do you do when you're not streaming here?
Oh, I'm crying. That's what I'm doing. Oh, not anymore though. Not with the green candles.
There we go.
So, I'm the Ascending Man. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about very interesting things. I stream just about every single Tuesday, and it's quite frankly supposed to be a show where, I give a little bit of a presentation, really cool things, very interesting things that, I was thinking about. And then I like it if people come in and start asking questions, have a little conversation about, the topic and all that. In which this coming week is going to be all about AI, AGI specifically, because Q-Star has been confirmed, and it is, that is actual, I would almost call it consciousness. And so it's getting developers at this point to question if they have created a machine or if they've created a creature, which is interesting to say the least. So that's going to be coming up this coming Tuesday. And then we got shows every single day, man. Literally, we got 2 of them. We got tomorrow. We got My Little Thing premiering, and then we've got our Jesse and Walrus Liquid Loans and Earn Protocol update, which is going to be fantastic with Tracker. And then after that, we've got Book Club, and Z, I'm sure you'll be talking about that one. That's gonna be a lot of fun. And then we take like a break on Saturday, and then we're back to our Sunday show. Man, we are really going wild, aren't we?
We got a busy month ahead of us. That's for sure. All right, let's kick it over to Jeff, aka the Apex Hex. What you got?
Basically, all I do when I'm not on here is stare at the charts and the majority of my day. But no, right now I'm coming up with a few different things. I lined up a few new people that are going to come on there that haven't been on before. I think three. I think three. We'll save who they are for in the future when we announce it. Coming up with a hex staking ladder video that's going to be really fun. It's about different strategies that you should use any of these strategies, but if you want to, I think they're pretty good. Besides that, that's about it.
Fantastic. Any socials or handles where people can follow you?
Tell you the
Just
truth,
catch you in the Telegram.
Yeah, that's I spend most of the time. I mean, I'm on Twitter, but usually I'm just scrolling and reading. If you want me, I'm in the Telegram. That's one thing I do. I spend a lot of time in the Telegram, and I try to answer as many questions and help as many people as possible. And like Will said, come ask any single question. There's not a dumb question, and if there is a dumb question, which there aren't, that makes it easier for me because I don't have to worry about being wrong because it'll be easy to answer. So now, come ask any question you got. I thoroughly enjoy helping people out. So please come give me something to do.
Fantastic. All right, over to the co-host, Will. What you got for the people?
All right, so you guys can find me you can find pretty much everything that I do at linktree/Will Stevenson. That's got my entire life's body of work, whether it's the DGen Roundtable podcast, the DGen Roundtable community, or like the DGen, or excuse me, not the D. I was about to talk about the DGen protocols. You can find all my socials in there: my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Telegram. You can find all the links to everything. You can even find some like the Rule Zero podcast that I've archived. And I don't know if my Hex Meetup thing is in there yet, but I'll go ahead and throw that down there in the chats as well. I'm just going to be the links man today. But if you're a Hex,
I got a link for you too there.
Oh yeah, if you're a Hexkin, you want to meet other Hexkins, then go to bit.ly/hex_meetup_template and put your information in there. I will already go ahead and let some of you guys know, Zenith, there's a gentleman in New Mexico who's in the same state as you are, as is public information on this public Excel spreadsheet. So remember, guys, when you're putting your information in this thing, you are essentially moderately doxing yourself. You can put in as much info as you want, but the more info that you put in, the more likely somebody is to reach out and say, hey, like I can come hang out with you, or I can do this, that, and the other thing. Like I'm currently in Dallas, Texas right now. So if anyone's in the Texas area, hit me up. I travel a lot. I travel for work. I go around building ironworking like TV towers everywhere. So like no matter what state you're in, if you're in a similar state, I'm going to swing by and say hi. Like I just drove down. I've spent probably about 5 or 6 hours driving over the last actually way more than that. Probably 20 or 30 hours over like the last weekend or two, driving around and meeting up with Hexicans. I met Ramon. I've met Crypto Kool-Aid. I haven't met RG3. I've met Zenith. I've met, Miguel and Charlie. I've met freaking everybody. I've met pretty much all the dudes on the DGen Roundtable, except for Jeff. We still got to hang out. But yeah, go around, meet up Hexicans, put your information in there, reach out to other people that are in similar places to you, and join our fucking Telegram. For fuck's sake, guys. Like, stop wasting your time and being a non-DGen of the Roundtable and come join our Telegram and hang out. And that is all that I have. Oh yeah, if you really want the easy solution, then put your camera up against your computer screen right now or screenshot this shit. This is our bit.ly. This is our QR code to join the DGen Roundtable Telegram. Thank you for putting that up there, Mrs. Producer or Zenith, whoever did that. Fantastic play. But yeah, if you missed it, then just scroll back. This is on YouTube. You can rewind and stuff. But anyways, join the Telegram. Come save yourself. Come hang out. And that's all I got. Zenith, what's up, bro?
Beautiful. All right. Like we talked about previously, we got a busy month coming up. So 2 days from now, on Friday, for book club, we are covering The Millionaire Next Door. This book talks about I believe it was the late 90s. They did a survey of millionaires in the United States and what their lives look like. Oh, shoot. Matty Allen's in
the chat. Hell yeah, bro.
And he just joined the Telegram. So thank you. We look forward to chatting with you in there, brother. And again, thank you so much for putting on the Hex Conference.
Oh, yeah.
Back to the book shill. Millionaire Next Door, this Friday, the 12th. we're going to be talking about this book. And one of the sections I particularly want to highlight is there's 2 chapters that talk about the psychology of acquiring money and how it affects you going forward. Specifically, is giving money just straight up to your children detrimental to their financial prospect in the future? And if you do, how can you alleviate this and try to instill good financial values in your children? And then also understand like the weird psychology tricks that happen when you get gifted money, how it could negatively affect you. What should you possibly be doing with it? Not financial advice, but we're going to look at what the millionaires did and see if we can emulate some of that from there. That's what I got going on. We have normal show on Sunday, and we also have a mega TA stream coming up next week on Wednesday. And then after that, we have more guests. Like we talked about before, we are literally booked out through the rest of January and a good chunk of February. We are super excited to have Access Alive coming on. It might be next week. I might have my streams mixed up.
The Super TA, right? I believe it's Access, Boogie,
Hex,
Toby
Kenobi?
one,
Toby,
Hex,
Toby one,
Toby,
Hexobi?
Toby one, Hex Toby.
Brother, we are so sorry for butchering your names. We are not the guys that organize stuff. We're just the people they put.
We didn't put it together.
Entertain the masses. This is the bread and circuses people, except it's good for your financial future. Anyways, I'm Zenith. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter at Hexaco Space Force, or Hex Space Force on Twitter specifically. That's what I got going on. Thank you. This is producer. We are just putting you through a hell of a time tonight. Yeah, so we have Agent J, Toby One, Hexobi, Boogie, Access Alive, and I think that's it. All right.
Great value TA.
We are going to end the show with what I think is our favorite comment of the stream. They were thanking us, and we just want to thank everyone and all the gentlemen out there as well for coming to the stream. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Thank you so much for listening, commenting, and making this place what it is. We will see you in the Telegram, or we will see you next time. Thank you very much. Good night.